The Young and the Restless. Spoilers. Full. Welcome back to our channel. Today is an absolutely wild day in the soap world, and we are completely losing our minds over the latest episode of The Young and the Restless. Grab your coffee, take a deep breath, and let's dive right into this absolute emotional roller coaster. I cannot believe they just did that to Nick Newman. And we all knew Matt Clark was pure evil, but this is next level psychological warfare. We have been watching this show for years, since the golden days, and they always put Nick through the ringer, but this time it feels so entirely different. It feels permanent. Because when Nick finally got out of that nightmare abandoned gas station in Vegas, we all let out this massive sigh of relief, right? We thought the worst was over. We thought Adam and Sharon had finally managed to pull him back from the brink. But no, the writers couldn't just let him be safe. They had to twist the knife, and they twisted it deep. So he escapes the physical danger, but he is completely out of his mind on whatever toxic cocktail Matt Clark pumped into him. Fentanyl, cocaine, who even knows what else is coursing through his veins right now? And you can see the sweat on his face, the absolute desperation in his eyes as the drug cravings hit him like a freight train. He's not the golden boy Nick Newman we've known since the 90s. He is a broken, shattered man fighting a chemical demon that Matt deliberately planted inside him. I'm sorry, but watching him stumble around, unable to resist that craving, it was gut-wrenching. You just wanted to reach through the screen, grab him by the shoulders, and stop him from getting behind the wheel of that car. But he gets in, because of course he does. Because he is spiraling and completely out of control. And he's driving back toward Genoa City, and the visuals here were just insane. The dark, winding road, the blurring headlights, the sheer panic setting in, and then the hallucination. Am I the only one who actually screamed at the TV when Matt Clark's figure just appeared in the middle of the road? Just standing there in the darkness, waving at him with that smug, disgusting, challenging smirk on his face. Nick is so high, so deeply traumatized, that his brain literally manifests his worst nightmare right in front of his headlights. Matt isn't even physically there, he's in police custody, but his poison is still actively destroying Nick's mind. And Nick, in this absolute state of drug-induced psychosis and pure, unadulterated rage, just floors it. He hits the gas. He actually hits the gas. He wants to obliterate Matt. He wants to run him down and end this nightmare once and for all. But Matt isn't there. It's an illusion. And what is actually there is a cliff, a massive, unforgiving rock face right on the treacherous edge of Genoa City. The sound of that crash, my God, the screeching tires, the sickening crunch of metal, the shattering glass. It echoed in my living room, and I just sat there frozen. They showed the car, this twisted, smoking, mangled pile of wreckage in the dead of night, and for a solid minute I genuinely thought they killed off Nick Newman. I mean, how do you survive an impact like that? You don't. Normal people don't survive that. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about the hospital scene, because somebody needs to hand Melody Thomas Scott an Emmy right now. Right now. When the paramedics pulled Nick from that smoking wreckage unconscious and rushed him through the double doors of Genoa City Memorial, the look on Nikki's face will haunt me forever. Nikki has been through so much trauma in her life. She has fought so many battles, survived so many tragedies, but seeing her son, her strong, protective baby boy, wheeled in, covered in blood, and completely lifeless, the way she just collapsed, she literally lost all strength in her legs and let out this guttural, soul-shattering scream of absolute despair. I was sobbing. I am not ashamed to admit it. I was crying my eyes out on the couch. We have watched Nikki protect her kids like a fierce lioness for decades, and in that moment she was completely powerless. There was nothing she could do but scream. And then the doctor comes out, and you know it's bad when the doctor won't look the family in the eye. He takes a breath, and he drops the absolute worst news imaginable. He says Nick might have permanent brain damage. Permanent brain damage, and that he might never wake up from this coma. Like, are we seriously doing a permanent coma storyline? Remember when they tried to put Victor in a coma years ago and we all knew he'd bounce back because he's Victor? This feels entirely different. The doctor's words just hung in the sterile hospital air like a death sentence. Nick, the vibrant, stubborn, deeply loving Nick, might just be trapped in his own mind forever because of Matt Clark's sick, twisted games. It is just too much to process. But can we talk about Victor for a second? Because while Nikki is screaming and breaking down in the waiting room, Victor is just silent. And honestly, a silent Victor Newman is a million times more terrifying than a yelling, glass-throwing Victor Newman. He didn't say a word. He didn't comfort Nikki. He just stood there looking through the ICU glass at his broken son hooked up to all those machines, and you could literally see the flames of hell igniting in his eyes. He didn't shed a single tear. He just radiated this cold, calculated, lethal energy that gave me absolute chills. He vowed right then and there in his own mind that whoever supplied those drugs to Nick is going to pay with their life. Not jail time, not a lawsuit, not a slap on the wrist, their life. And we all know Victor Newman does not make empty threats. When Victor decides you are done, you are already a ghost. I mean, whoever this drug supplier is, they better start running to the absolute ends of the earth right now, because Victor is going to unleash the full, terrifying force of his entire empire to hunt them down. He's not going to let the Genoa City Police Department handle this. Chance, or whoever is working the case, is not going to get to this guy first. Victor's private security team is probably already tearing the Vegas underground apart piece by piece. And honestly, I am entirely here for it. I usually get so annoyed when Victor plays God and bypasses the law, but right now, destroy them, Victor. Burn their entire world to the ground for what they did to your son. Show no mercy. So what does this mean for the Newman Empire? Because you just know the corporate vultures are going to start circling the moment the news leaks. The very foundation of Newman Enterprises is shaking to its core right now. With Nick completely incapacitated and fighting for his life, the stability of the family is gone. Victoria is going to have to shoulder so much more weight. And Adam, oh man, Adam is going to absolutely lose his mind. Adam was just trying to save him. He went to Vegas. He dealt with Matt. He unchained Sharon. He tried to be the good brother. The guilt Adam is going to feel, knowing he couldn't stop Nick from succumbing to the drugs and getting in that car, is going to eat his soul alive. The entire family dynamic is shattered into a million pieces. The company is vulnerable. It's a total catastrophic domino effect that is going to change the landscape of Genoa City forever. And it all comes back to Matt Clark. I hate him. I truly, deeply, passionately hate this character, which means the actor is doing a phenomenal, award-worthy job. But still, Matt has terrorized this family for what feels like an eternity. He ruined Noah's peace of mind. He tortured Sharon in ways that are just unforgivable. And now he has practically destroyed Nick, even behind bars. Even when he's not physically present to inflict pain, his psychological poison is still ruining their lives. That hallucination on the dark road just proves that Matt's torture is deeper than any physical wound. He broke Nick's mind before he broke his body. It is just so dark and twisted. I know some people in the forums are loving this dark, gritty turn the show is taking, and they love the high stakes, but personally, my heart just cannot take it. I want Nick to wake up. I want him to open his eyes, look at Sharon, look at his devastated parents, and be okay. But Y&R doesn't give us happy endings that easily, do they? We are in for a long, agonizing, tear-filled ride, you guys. I'm absolutely dreading tomorrow's episode because I don't want to see Nick hooked up to a ventilator. But you know I will be glued to my screen the second it airs. Let me know in the comments if you guys are as emotionally wrecked over this crash as I am, because I literally cannot process this tragedy alone. We need a support group for this show. I swear,